you that are watching at home to the St. Charles County Council meeting of March 25th, 2019. This evening we have our invocation given by Mr. Brad Harris of the Bible Baptist Church here in St. Charles. And then the Pledge of Allegiance will be given by Dave Hammond. Will we all rise?
Let's pray, may we? Lord, we thank you and love you for loving us and your kindness and your grace and your mercy you bestow upon us. May we be so reminded how blessed a people we are. We thank you for the nation in which we live and the freedom that we have. Thank you for this county that we live and reside in, and we pray for the leaders of it. We pray for the concerned citizens here this evening. And again, thank you for all who serve in every way in this county to make it the best place it can be to live. I pray you bless this meeting, and may we all again just look to you for wisdom this evening in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Joe Cronin.
Here.
Councilmember Joe Breisel. Councilmember Mike Elam.
Here.
Councilmember John White.
Here.
Councilmember Dave Hammond.
Here.
Councilmember Terry Hollander.
Here.
Councilmember Mike Klinghammer.
Here.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is public presentations. I believe the county executive has a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. I have a proclamation here I'd like to read for a very upstanding business person who has a long history. Donna, would you come up, please? St. Charles County government is pleased to recognize remarkable citizens who have made extraordinary contributions to the community. And whereas born and raised in Gillespie, Illinois, daughter of Christina, a school teacher, and Robert, a farmer, Donna Hoffer came to St. Charles to attend Lindenwood College for Women, now Lindenwood University, after receiving a 4-year scholarship to study chemistry and home economics, and she earned a Bachelor of Science degree. And whereas Donna formed the Newcomers Club in St. Charles to welcome new residents, she worked as a chemistry and home economics substitute teacher at St. Charles High School, and she volunteered at St. Joseph Hospital as a pink lady. And whereas Donna purchased her first rental property on Main Street in 1975, she also owned Plain and Fancy Antique Shop on Stone Row, the Fig Leaf Dress Shop, Something Sweet Cookies and Candy Store, and the Copper Platter Restaurant, later Haviland Platter, from 1979 to 1986, and whereas she is one of the founding members of the South Main Preservation Society, established to preserve the historic district of South Main Street, and in 1979, along with John Dengler and Archie Scott, began the Christmas Walk, now Los Posadas and Christmas Traditions, and whereas Donna purchased the mother-in-law house in 1981 and owned and operated it for 37 years. And she opened and operated the Haviland Museum on the first floor of the new Bill McElhaney House from 1996 to 2016, showcasing a nearly 1,000-piece collection of Haviland china. And whereas in 2006 she received the Good Neighbor to Main Street Award from the South Main Street Preservation Society, in 2008 Donna demonstrated how to bake an apple pie on the reality TV show Farmer Wants a Wife. I missed that. And in 2009, she received the Lifetime Distinguished Service Award, cultural category from the St. Charles Chamber of Commerce. And whereas Donna is the widow of Ralph Hoffer and has 2 children, Heidi and Bob, who I think is here today. And witness, therefore, now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Steve Ellman, St. Charles County Executive, on behalf of St. Charles County government, do hereby extend heartfelt appreciation and commendation to Donna Hoffer, and witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the seal of St. Charles County on this 25th day of February 2019. Donna, thank you for all you've done for your for our community.
Thank you so much. And I was so glad that Archie Scott and John Dingler's name was mentioned too, because it took the three of us. And they aren't here, of course, but they were two of the Musketeers. And we appreciate you acknowledging South Main, because it takes a lot to keep it going. And you doing this makes such a difference to us, and I'm not there as often as I was, so thank you very much. Thank you.
Actually, we made to make a slight change,
Okay.
so I'm going to give it to Donna, and she'll give it to you tomorrow.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
See, we have some pictures first.
Oh,
I always like
how's that?
to be hand in hand with a good-looking man.
I certainly hope that makes my wife jealous.
Thank you very much. You know, Don and I have a couple things in common. We're both fellow 4-H'ers, and Donna likes to cook and I like to eat. It was wonderful times at your restaurant. We thank you so much for what you've given St. Charles. And Robert, I want to thank you for what all you've done also. You were right there with her for so many years helping her. So thank you, sir, and thank you, Donna. And thank you, County Executive. Next, we move on to conditional use permit. Bills for final passage.
Bill number 4689, an ordinance granting conditional use permit CUP 18-18 for buildings, structures, or open spaces for conducting weddings and/or wedding receptions or other private parties to Robert G. Brinkman and Kim Brinkman, property owners.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to table Bill number 4689. Exhibit C has not been received, so the bill must be tabled.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bill 4689 has been tabled, and we move on to public comments. And during public comments, we invite the public to come forward and speak on any topic of the council. Once the topic has been arrived at, we ask that you, if there's other speakers, have 3 speakers pro and 3 speakers con, and we ask you to please limit your time to 3 minutes, and we will time it. First speaker.
Graham Garvey. Okay, go ahead.
You don't have to be sworn in.
Okay, I did the last few times. Council members, thank you for your time this evening. Last time that I was here, I was quite flustered, and I had a lot of figures that I was trying to convey. The issues and the reasons why I'm opposing, providing opposition to the venue without limitations. And so the limitations that that the Planning and Zoning Commission has recommended to you, specifically the 2 focused around no outdoor amplified music and around no fireworks, I strongly encourage you to adopt when you move forwards at your next session to pass or reject this bill. I encourage you to keep those limitations in the bill. I'd also request that you further amend the application to protect us from the risk that the combination of the road, the volume of traffic, plus alcohol will pose to the residents in the community. You are the final authority on liquor licenses in the county. They can apply for a license. That'll go through the registrar. The registrar will follow what the state will provide as guidance. And then any liquor license in the county, it's not a right to sell alcohol. It's actually regulated, and you are the final authority in the county for unincorporated areas such as this area. I would request that you follow precedents that's already been set at other venues where the time of serving is distanced from the time when the venue closes. There's an 11 p.m. closing time for this venue. I have no issue with that. What I would recommend strongly is that you impose a limitation that alcohol service be shut down a defined period before the venue closes at 11 p.m. I would specifically recommend 90 minutes, but I would be very happy if you were to recommend even 60 minutes. The reason why this, again, there's a precedence for this. There's seventh inning rules, and where major ballparks, large venues where large numbers of people are going to be put out onto the street after having consumed alcohol. While this is not a major ballpark like Busch Stadium, this is potentially up to 170 vehicles at the end of an event being turned out onto Highway F. Scale is relative. Highway F, that 170 cars would be 48% increases in the regular volume. I've detailed that in some of the figures that you have in the letters that I've submitted. I would say that those 170 vehicles with up to 100 times a year, this really poses a risk to the community. I've detailed for you at the last meeting and tried to share with you my research where, yes, when a new venue goes in, the number of DWIs in that region goes up. When Defiance Vineyards went in, that number went up. It's not a perceived threat. There are facts and data to support that this is a concern. My facts, unfortunately, were incomplete, is what I found out recently, because the New Melle Police Department was disbanded, and when I inquired about their records, they're all gone. So any records about the DWIs on Highway F are not available to me. I've also been trying to find out from the state police who patrol all of those highways in the region, and I didn't have that
Mr. Chairman, his 3 minutes are up.
information. I'm almost finished, if you'll bear with me. So I'd request that you take the authority that you have.
Your time's expired.
We understand what you want, and we appreciate it, but your time is up. Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
No, we're not allowed to ask questions.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Next.
Arnie Dienoff.
Thank you, members of the County Council. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, public advocate and running for the County Ambulance Board. First of all, what I'd like to ask is, in front of the old executive office building, there's been a dozen trees that have been cut down and removed. I've seen it the last couple of meetings. I've been meaning to bring it to the attention of the County Council. I've asked around the facilities department and some other county employees of why we remove these historic trees from the front of our executive office building. It really deteriorates from the charm and the character of our historic building, and it seems to be a big mystery. So maybe somebody can come up why. And if we removed them for some reason due to disease or something of that such, are we going to replace them? Because I believe very highly in the environment and the landscape of our county buildings. Number 2, Bill number 4695, repealing section 115.230, harassment policy, and enacting a new section 115.3130 for administration of the merit system and disciplinary action. Now, there have been a complaint was made back in December of long-term police detective Stephanie Fisk. She's an excellent ethical police officer in our police department, was forced into resignation because the county paid out over a $500,000 settlement to Ms. Fisk and paid for her attorney's fees. She filed a complaint with the County Merit Commission and the county counselor from our newly appointed county counselor moved from Jefferson City, complaints on corruption, harassment, and discrimination within our county police department. You've all talked about it in closed session. I'm sure you're hopefully familiar with it. It will not be tolerated by our county any longer, or our 430,000 county citizens. It's a big closed secret. Discrimination will not be allowed. Why shut down people from discussing facts and telling the truth of wrongdoing and discrimination and corruption within our police department or any other county department within our jurisdiction? We have issues of the Justice Services Department, which Mr. Bob Schnarr's daughter in Justice Service was paid out a handsome settlement for a discrimination lawsuit over a pregnancy issue and her treatment from commanders in our corrections facility. The Election Authority paid out over $1 million in settlements to a dozen county election officials and their spouses. We have pending EOC grievances both at the federal and the Missouri Ethics Commission. I will have an open door policy, and I ask that if any county employee ever experiences discrimination, sexual harassment, or employee discrimination, that you contact me either via email at Arnie, A-R-N-I-E, Dienoff, D-I-E-N-O-F-F,
Mr. Chairman, the 3 minutes are up.
or call me at 314-440-9000. This will not be tolerated any longer in our county government. Thank you, Mr.
Honorary.
Chairman.
Next.
That's all the speakers.
That's all the speakers. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the oral report by the county executive.
None this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to consent agenda. Is there anything to be removed? Is there a motion to accept?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion has been approved. Moving on to,
Bills for perfection.
I've lost my place.
Bills
Oh,
for
resolution number 9-01.
Don't believe there's any action to be taken on that.
All right, we'll move on to next bills for introduction.
Actually, we're going to go with bills for final passage.
Bills for final passage, starting with bill number 4690.
Bill number 4690, an ordinance amending the zoning district map of the County of St. Charles, Missouri by rezoning land from A Agricultural District to RR Single Family Residential District as per application RZ 18-12.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, I took the liberty of calling Mr. Brazel because he's on a family vacation, missed last meeting, and he's missing this meeting, to just make sure that he had any concerns about this. He voiced to me that he has no concerns whatsoever. Changes were done in the master plan. This fits the master plan. So I wanted to hear that from Joe's mouth, and so I'm fine with it, but I thought the rest of the council might want to know Mr. Brazel's comments.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll move forward with bill number 4690. Can you please read it, Bill, and call a roll?
Bill number 4690, an ordinance amending the zoning district map of the County of St. Charles, Missouri by rezoning land from A Agricultural District to RR Single Family Residential District as per application RZ 18-12. Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel? Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Bill number 4690 is passed. We move on to 6991.
Bill number 4691, an ordinance amending sections 405.510.d and 405.535.b of the ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri, OSCCMO, the Unified Development Ordinance, UDO, relating to notification requirements for properties subject to rezoning and conditional use permit application and approval processes.
Any questions or comments, gentlemen? Seeing none, we'll read the bill and call a roll.
Bill number 4691, an ordinance amending sections 405.510.d and 405.535.b of the ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri, OSCCMO, the Unified Development Ordinance, UDO, relating to notification requirements for properties subject to rezoning and conditional use permit application and approval processes. Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
4691 is passed. We move on to 4692.
Bill number 4692, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an East-West Gateway Council of Governmental Financial Assistance subaward agreement for microwave router upgrades at St. Charles County sites.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, read the roll call.
Bill number 4692, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an East-West Gateway Council of Governmental Financial Assistance subaward agreement for microwave router upgrades at St. Charles County sites. Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel? Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
4692 is passed. We'll move on to Bill 4693.
Bill number 4693, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an agreement with the Missouri Department of Public Safety to deploy one or more members of the Division of Emergency Management to the Communications Unit.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none,
Bill number 4693, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an agreement with the Missouri Department of Public Safety to deploy one or more members of the Division of Emergency Management to the Communications Unit. Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel? Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
yes. 4693 is passed, and we move on to 4694.
Bill number 4694, an ordinance authorizing the non-binding projected tax rates of the county for the General Revenue Fund and for various special funds of and for the County of St. Charles, Missouri for the year 2019 in order to develop the notice of projected tax liability to accompany the assessor's notice of assessed value, all as mandated by Senate Bill 711, 2008.
Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none?
Bill number 4694, an ordinance authorizing the non-binding projected tax rates of the county for the General Revenue Fund and for various special funds of and for the County of St. Charles, Missouri for the year 2019 in order to develop the notice of projected tax liability to accompany the assessor's notice of assessed value, all as mandated by Senate Bill 711, 2008. Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel? Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Bill 4694 has passed. We'll move on to Bill to 4695.
Bill number 4695, an ordinance repealing in its entirety Section 115.130 harassment policy of the ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri, OSCCMO, and enacting a new Section 115.130 anti-harassment policy, OSCCMO, amending Section 115.370D, administration of the merit system, OSCCMO, amending Section 115.410.B.3.D, appointment, and amending Section 115.460.B, disciplinary action, OSCCMO.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to move to amend Bill number 4695 on page 5, Section 2B, and insert 3039 after 636949.
Second.
Is that a roll call or all?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion is passed. We'll move on to the amended bill, 4695.
And is there any discussion on amendment?
Any discussion on the amended bill? Seeing none?
Amended Bill 4695, an ordinance repealing in its entirety Section 115.130 harassment policy of the ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri, OSCCMO, and enacting a new Section 115.130 anti-harassment policy, OSCCMO, amending Section 115.370.D, administration of the merit system, OSCCMO, amending Section 115.410.B.3.D, appointment, and amending Section 115.460.B, disciplinary action, OSCCMO. Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel? Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Bill number 4695 has been passed, and we move on to bills for introduction, beginning with 4696.
Bill number 4696, requested by Hope Woodson, sponsored by John White, an ordinance amending Section 243.020 ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri, OSCCMO, relating to fees for recycling.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll move to Bill 4697.
Bill number 4697, requested by Michael Hurlbert, sponsored by council as a whole, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute agreements with certain municipalities for enforcement and prosecution of various codes adopted by the municipalities and enforced by the St. Charles County Department of Community Development.
Any questions or comments? Moving on to 4698.
Bill number 4698, requested by Mike Hurlbert, sponsored by John White, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an agreement between the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, and St. Charles County, Missouri for development of a flood inundation map to support flood warning for Darden Creek in St. Charles County, Missouri.
Question?
Comment?
Yes.
Okay. As a longtime resident of this county who sandbagged in 1973, I remember when this section of Darden Creek stopped Interstate 70. The old Hill Bean got flooded, and there was lumber floating over the highway, and it was a big mess. So I'm glad to see this. It looks like it's a plan to give warning for that flooding again, because if Darden Creek comes out again, it has a potential of shutting down 70 like it did back in those days. Mm-hmm. So thanks for Mike for putting this all together, and hopefully it'll do what it's intended to do.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman.
County Executive?
Yeah, I think it also went out, was it in 16? In 16, it went over I-70 in several different places. And if you remember, St. Peter's and ourselves and several others asked the Corps to do a study, which at that point they could not do. This is the next best thing to a thorough study on this. And of course, for the amount of money we're putting into it, I think there's a lot of good can come out of it.
That concludes bills for introduction. We'll move on to table bills, but I believe the bill that's tabled is going to remain tabled. And that leads us to announcements and miscellaneous. Does anybody have anything?
As promised, I took my grandson to the family arena last night, okay? And I wanted to give kudos to Bob Schnurr and the county family arena staff. It was a wonderful little circus. And if you ever want to figure out why we have a family arena in St. Charles County, go to that circus and see all the little kids bounce around. It has so much fun. So thanks a lot. It was a good, enjoyable event. Plus, it raised a lot of money for the Mullahs who run the Shriners hospitals. And it's just a win-win for everybody. It was a nice time.
Isn't that fantastic?
Mr. Chairman, I would also note with regard to the family arena, as they often have to do, they performed life-saving techniques that saved a child over the weekend while they were there.
Oh.
So they had a child choking on something, and one of the staff performed the Heimlich. It is not infrequent that the family arena staff save lives while people are visiting there.
Wow.
So,
Well, credit to them. Thank them so much. Anybody else?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
So moved. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Elephants survive after you say what's